I'm Sergeant Claire Johnson. I'm a flight medic with Charlie, 3rd of the 126 in the Vermont National Guard. I initially joined in New York when I was 17. I joined the New York National Guard as a ground medic. After about a year, I transferred down to the DC National Guard and transferred to aviation, and that's where I started my process of becoming a flight medic. And then I was in DC National Guard for about 5 years before I transferred up to Vermont. My original plan as a 17-year-old was to go to college, play sports in college, and then I talked to a recruiter who told me all about how great the Army medical training is and how, as a medic, you'll learn how to do IVs and give drugs, and that's something that would put me ahead in nursing school, which I already planned on doing in college. I initially joined when I was 17 to get some more experience in the medical field, and the path that the National Guard took me on didn't disappoint those expectations. I never thought that I would become a flight medic, and that's something that I just continued through my career and took the opportunities that came available to me. And through that, I was able to satisfy the hopes and dreams of the 17-year-old me who joined. Getting the medical experience that I wanted through the military definitely happened, especially when I transferred to aviation and got my paramedic and my critical care certification. I originally came to Vermont. I was in Afghanistan on a deployment, and with the DC Guard, since it's a district and not a state, we only get federal tuition assistance benefits. And when you went to a college at a neighboring state, they didn't recognize that you got in-state tuition. So when I was on my deployment, I had some free time, and I made a nice spreadsheet of almost all 50 states and what benefits there were out there. And having family in New York, I wanted to move back to the Northeast. So Vermont was on my list. It was between Vermont, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. So a week after I got home from deployment, I came up and visited Vermont for the first time. A few weeks later, I moved up to Vermont. I knew no one and went to UVM for a few years, and Vermont paid for it. My dad retired a few years ago. He was in the Guard my whole life. He was in for, I think, 38 years. So he started active duty in the Army and then went active duty in the Air Force. And then by the time my brother and I were born, he was National Guard. And then my brother, he's also in the Guard. He is an MP down in DC. I don't know. I would have to say there's too many good things. I mean, you're surrounded by some of the smartest people that I've ever met in my life who constantly challenge you to learn more. Some of the nicest people that I've ever met. It's one of those jobs where everyone is trying to be the best that they can be and push you to be the best. I would say that it's all around a really good, challenging, fun job. What I like the best about the Guard is meeting so many people with so many different backgrounds. And so I think that's the thing of, if you take a few minutes to sit down and talk to someone and ask them about their life or how they got to where they are, you'd be amazed about what people have accomplished or what path they took to get to exactly where you're standing. When it is actually snowy, I like to go snowboarding. I like snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, honestly anything outdoors, hiking, different breweries, exploring, trying new things. Oh, and I also recently, last year, I got a road bike. So I've been biking around. When I first got it, I came into work and I told someone like, oh yeah, I just got a really cool bike. And they thought I meant a motorcycle. And then when I started describing it, they're like, that's so lame. So I would say it's not as scary as it seems. There's a lot of people that I talk to who are like, oh, I could never do that. Really, anyone can. It's not as scary as it seems. And even if there are things that you can't do, there are plenty of people and resources that the Army provides that can help you overcome those difficulties that you may face. Don't be afraid of taking opportunities, even if it's outside of your comfort zone. That's the thing is like people start to get like, they feel themselves getting uncomfortable with like growth and change because nobody likes change. No matter how tough you are, what you think you want to say to people, nobody likes change. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable, but that's how you grow.